This is Just a Few Questions. I'm Marc Sims. My guest is Matt Martin. Matt Martin is the alderman of the, I always like saying alderman, alderperson, alderman of the 47th Ward here in the city of Chicago. Welcome to the show, Matt Martin.
Happy to be here, Mark.
I'm so tickled to have you here. Let's get right into it. Matt Martin, what are some of the boundaries of the 47th Ward?
Yeah, so it's not the worst looking ward. It's not a huge squiggle, but it's also not a square. So I'll start by saying we're comprised primarily of Lincoln Square, Ravenswood North Center, and then we have some bits of Uptown, Roscoe Village, Andersonville, and West Lakeview. The rough boundaries, if you're just like, hey, what's the approximate square? It's Addison up to Lawrence and Ashland over to the Chicago River, approximately Rockwell.
Now, tell us some of the good things, some of the great things or good things that's going on, and or just so we can go visit. So we can come up there, far south sider like me, or from another part of the world, go visit the 47th Ward. What's going on?
Oh man, too much to list, but maybe some highlights that I will flag. One is that our riverbank, so our western boundary is the Chicago River. We have some lovely areas on the east bank of it. So if you are specifically south of Lawrence, maybe around Berteau, 4200 North, a really lovely walking path that our riverbank neighbors maintain. So that's a terrific place. We've got a number of wonderful parks. We've got Revere Park, we've got Clark Park, which is also right along the river and a great launching pad if you like to canoe or kayak. Chase Park in our uptown community is also a lovely one. And then we have a number of really interesting and different but still dynamic retail corridors. We've got Lincoln Avenue, both in North Center as well as Lincoln Square, which are wonderful. North Center, a little bit more arts and culture in terms of fine arts. Up in Lincoln Square, Lincoln Avenue is a little bit more retail and especially restaurant heavy, as well as the Ravenswood corridor. A lot of light manufacturing has happened there throughout the decades, and more recently, a lot of breweries and a distillery are there. So that's your malt row if you're a lover of festive beverages. And then lastly, we've got some parts of Clark Street at the southern end of Andersonville that are wonderful as well.
Like I'm coming up there now. You know, you tempt me because I want to come up there, but like I said, I'm a person like of a certain age or whatever, brainwashed that ain't my neighborhood. If I go up there, they're gonna call the police, and I'm scared. You know, it's just silliness, but I need to break that. I think a lot of us, that's not just me, need to break that type of mentality. Now, here's the question I love asking: does the 47th Ward have any crime problems, some public safety issues?
We do, and I would say what we've seen since I started in office in 2019. Is a microcosm of what we've seen all across the city, which was in 2019, one of the better years that we've had over the last several decades. Still problems, to be clear, but then saw things shoot up in 2020, definitely in 2021. So like other parts of the city, we saw an uptick in shootings. Then it was carjackings, then it was robberies, then it was commercial burglaries. I'd say relative to most other wards, those numbers are lower, but those incidents still affect our community just like they do every part of the city, because most people don't live in statistics, right? They think, have I been a victim of something? Has something happened on my block? Has something happened to a business that I love patroning, or a friend or a family member who I love? So I've been heartened to see how things have been improving over the last year and a half. We're back down in terms of incidents being as frequent as they were in 2019, but that's still not good enough. So I would love to see us chart a better course for the city where we can bring folks together to say, look, in prior years, 500 homicides would have been something that felt good, but that's not good enough. Let's come down to 400, let's come down to 300 and talk all across the city about how everyone can play a part in achieving that.
I think that's going to happen. The murders are down for a lot of different reasons. People are going to take credit, but I think one reason which I can't quantify with statistics and data, that so many African Americans have moved out of the city. I'm from the far south side. When we were growing up, of course, you understand this story very well. When we were growing up, we were black and we were Negroes before then. That's on my birth certificate, Negroes for my parents. And And so a lot of people do move away. And a lot of people who were in this town when I was a kid, they don't live here. They moved away and passed away. So I think that Chicago's going to finally go under 400 murders. We haven't been under 400 murders since 1965. It may happen this year, next year. It's going to happen because of a lot of hard work people are doing and some demographic changes. But here's the question, Matt Martin. I love asking people, the crime is going down, but will the perception of Chicago being a crime-ridden city, will that ever end?
I think it can, but I think we have to do at least two big things. One is continue those downward trends, but then have them be a new normal, right? If you're talking about 400 or 500 homicides, that needs to be a ceiling, not a floor. And it's been a floor for as long as you and I have been alive, essentially. So we need to keep those trend lines going down, find that new normal so that people have something else to talk about, so that we're not the murder capital of the world. But what is that other thing going to be? And I think that's one of the more positive things to think about, which is, we're this city of ambition, right? We're a city that has been so welcoming to so many different people across our 200-year history. What is that next big thing that we're going to do, right? What's that next Millennium Park that's going to be open to everybody from across the city to be able to, free of charge, hear wonderful music from artists from across the city, across the country and beyond? How are we going to swing for the fences on building, creating something new and innovative? Because at the end of the day, it can't just be the case that we become safer and are hopefully get to the point where we're one of the safest big cities in the country. That's great, but we need to be more. We need to have something else that people can talk about in a good way. We're still a work in progress there, but I would love for people to think more about that. What's something exciting and innovative that we can create together?
Yeah, whether we have the same mayor we have now or a new mayor, that's what I'm pushing for. Because, people, they push up, and we're almost done. They push place-based development, and everyone's for place-based development. But I'm the kind of person who like to talk about people-place development. And so, and just like you mentioned, coming up to, I haven't been up there in a while. I used to have a lot of driving jobs, so I spent a lot of time up there, but I don't anymore, so I haven't been up there. I'm going to take the trek up to the 47th floor. And I say that because we get to, no matter what city you live in, we need to know all the different parts of the city and all of the different people that live in that city. And a different type of people who live in that city. And we all realize, we know this stuff intuitively, that we're people. But the place space whether the public schools, after schools, Sunday schools, Saturday schools, whatever, that we teach people how, it's just a few that really cause trouble. And we know who they are. Now, why don't we spend the resources to say, we know these people are going to end up being criminals someday. How do we give them supports to make them better people? How do we grow people? I know that goes beyond some of the politician talk, but how do we grow people, better people, Matt Martin?
Part of it is, what do people need? And just ask yourself, what do you need? What do you have? What do you want to have that you don't have? I think it starts with same general foundation. You need stability when it comes to housing, when it comes to healthcare, when it comes to income/job, depending on where you're at. If you're 13 versus 83, that's going to mean different things. And then you need to be able to go out and enjoy what our wonderful city has to offer. So that might be parks, that might be going to the movie theater, going to take in a show, going to the lakefront, going to see one of our wonderful museums, like our Pullman National Museum that's close to you. So that's where we start. And then when you're thinking, okay, which of those things do our neighbors not have? Then we can start to get to work on there. And when we're specifically thinking about violence and gun violence in particular, we know what a lot of that secret sauce is. You've got organizations like Chicago Cred, Ready Chicago, the CP4P umbrella, where they say, look, we're doing street outreach to talk to typically boys and younger men who are likeliest to be involved in gun crime, as victims, as perpetrators, or both. So we're looking to de-escalate tension when it comes up, offer them access to free therapy so that they can help figure out how do we process a lot of this trauma that too often people have collected over the course of their young lives. Then it's paid job training with a job that's been lined up if you finish that program. So you're being trained to hold a job that will pay you a living wage, that will provide you opportunities for advancement. That's worked. We know that that's worked, and talking with people who've gone through the programs, the stats back that up. a big thing that we need to do over the next 5 to 10 years. How do we scale this up so that instead of talking about pockets of the city that are doing that, we're talking about the entire city having access to those services. Whoever needs them should be able to get access to them.
Matt Martin, you are a wonderful public service. Thank you for being my guest, but please close the podcast out by inviting people to come connect with you.
Yeah, so we right now are doing a lot of construction in our Lincoln Square neighborhood. It's work that's been envisioned for as long as I've been in office. It's disruptive, but when it's done later this fall, it's going to be terrific. It's going to be a great complement to our Lincoln Square area that's already dynamic. So both now and then after that work is done, come patron some businesses. Come grab some food from Wild Goose or Bistro Campagne if you're a French food lover, Luella's Southern Kitchen if that's your jam. Come to a show, Old Town School of Folk Music, come see a theater at the Davis. Our businesses need your support. So come patron ours and then patron the ones that are by you if you don't have them.